Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Knockabout, a Hong Kong action comedy from 1979 that stars Yuen Biao, and it was directed by Sammo Hung, who also has a role in the film that becomes more prominent as the story progresses. Now this film follows two con artist brothers, Yipao, played by Yuen Biao, and Taipao, played by Bryan Leung. And one day, they're cheated themselves out of their ill-gotten gains, I guess you could say, in an encounter with an older man. And they try to fight him to retrieve one of their possessions. But they are soundly defeated, so they ask him to train them in the hopes that they will become the best fighters in the city. Now, after surpassing the fighting skills of ordinary people, Yipao later encounters a plump beggar, played by Sammo Hung, who also knows some kung fu, of course. This film actually opens with a neat little scam involving gold and a money exchange. Everyone is basically out to scam everyone else. It's a pretty entertaining scene. Good way to start things off, because we get a feel for our protagonists and their overall lack of morality, I guess you could say. The comedy is kind of silly, but it works well enough. With Yuen and Sammo present, there's definitely a certain charisma that's present here, right? It's at work. Now, Sammo's character is very nutty, almost acting mentally insane throughout the film. There's something wrong with this guy, but it is amusing to watch. There are a few good one-liners in this as well, like when Yuen promises not to punch a guy in a casino, and you see how that turns out. The dramatic elements and story are very flimsy in this film, like very flimsy. So the genre elements really take charge throughout the entire runtime. I mean, it's basically action, comedy, action, comedy, action, comedy the whole way through. It does help the pacing, in my opinion, but some viewers may find it a little bit too commonplace. I mean, there's really nothing in this movie that's groundbreaking. I mean, let's be honest. This is similar to a lot of other martial arts action comedies from like the 70s and 80s, right? But it's the execution that matters in films like this. And overall, I'd say the quality is good. You know, near the beginning, the martial arts are on the slower and maybe more robotic side, but that kind of makes sense in the context of the plot because these con artists are more talented at conning people and simply learned enough martial arts, to a certain point, to basically defend themselves. But it's not good enough anymore. At least that's what they feel. But there is still some neat choreography early on. There's a fight between our two protagonists over a bag of coins. It was kind of, it's kind of a neat choreography and it's funny at the same time. There's another fight in a casino where one of our protagonists is actually learning moves from the other protagonists during the fight. So you got one guy who's like fighting off guys and he's looking and learning moves of the other dude who's better. And so that was a pretty fun scene. I like that one. But the quality of the fighting does improve. It gets better as things roll along, and Yuen Biao's character learns more moves throughout the film. So we get some additional styles introduced, like snake and monkey forms and stuff like that. We do get a few good training sequences, of course, in this martial arts film. There's a jump rope training that's pretty impressive because it's real. And Yuen Biao does some crazy acrobatics in this film that are kind of the highlight moments, in my opinion. Later on in the film, he does a series of backflips, consecutive backflips on like a table. And it's just, some of the stuff this guy can do is pretty eye-popping. And this movie finishes strong with a solid 2-on-1 fight at the end of the film. Lasts a while, has multiple stages, and they mix it up in terms of the styles. So there's really not much more to say about this film. Knockabout is simply a good quality, old school martial arts action comedy with some talented stars. If you're into this kind of movie, you should probably check it out because you'll probably like it. And as always, we will see you next time.